At Arval, we have a strong conviction. Technology alone will not exponentially help us accelerate the adoption of sustainable mobility. For that, a true change is needed in our collective mindset on how to drive this transformation. Across Europe, most companies are committed. The Arval Mobility Observatory shows that 75% of European companies use or plan to use at least one alternative energy, and 85% have or plan to have a charging policy. But intent is not adoption. Adoption is slowed down by infrastructure, yes, but is dragged down even more by unclear policies, competing priorities, and resistance to change. And while the planet clock is ticking, the opportunity to orchestrate adoption at scale is right in front of us, if we do it together.
For years, our industry relied on a simplified equation. Sustainable mobility equal decarbonized mobility equal electric vehicles. It was useful, but it's incomplete. Sustainable mobility touches everyone and everything: commuting, business travel, logistics, but also safety, affordability, air quality, or resource use. It's not just which vehicle you use, it's how, when, and sometimes whether you move at all. And we have to look at the full picture to measure how sustainable our mobility is, taking into account upstream and downstream impacts like raw materials, manufacturing, energy, infrastructure.
Today, the connected fleets technology gives us the ability to see the real usage patterns and guide our decisions. Yet, while 40% of companies have connected fleets, only 15% use the data meaningfully. When used ethically, with anonymized and aggregated data, with clear objectives and a clear governance, the data becomes a dialogue enabler and not a threat. No measurement, no progress. No transparency, no adoption.
And we have clear identified levers in addition to the introduction of EVs to promote the buy-in and adoption of sustainable mobility solutions and to have an impact that will benefit to people, profit, and planet. There are 5 levers. The first one is bringing together fleet manager, HR, CSR, finance, facilities, sometimes communication and operations. Indeed, having a shared ambition, clear targets, and agree on the cadence are the first steps towards success. Second, build a consolidated view of the complete mobility budget because usually it sits in silo in the company. Third, co-design with users the transition. Fourth, test, validate, and provide enablers. It's important to measure feasibility and impact and to build buy-in. This will help refine the strategy. And don't forget that the day-to-day blockers must be addressed, such as EV charging on-site, home charging support, simple payment, route planners, showers, etc. The sustainable mobility choice must be the easiest choice. Last part, scale and integrate by embedding your successful initiatives into a coherent mobility policy, and then publish an impact report to track progress and sustain commitments. You can also find the right balance between encouragements, like allowances or financing part of the charging, and accountability, rules and restrictions. Acceptance relies on fairness, transparency, and local adaptation. This is how we turn projects into performance.
Think of adoption as an iceberg. Above the waterline, you have the visible things. Electric cars, charging, bikes, policies, all around assets and technology. They matter and they get all the headlines, but below the waterline are those deciding factors: behaviors, constraints, culture, perceived value, and equity of access. This is where adoption is won or lost. Our job is to design the adoption journey, not just change the vehicles.
In short, people are at the heart of mobility. Adoption won't be delivered by top-down mandates or isolated initiatives. It must be co-constructed, data-informed, and anchored in real usage. If we all together get sustainable mobility right, we can unlock benefits for the environment, the safety, the people, and more generally, stronger economics.